صوت بلاد سوريا. الله محيي الجيش، الله محيي الجيش، الله محيي الجيش.
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
What's your position regarding millions of demonstrators getting ready to demonstrate against the President Morsi and the regime of the Muslim Brotherhood and asking Morsi to step down?
Yeah, well, you heard the Secretary talk about this a little bit, I believe it was at his press availability yesterday. But just to reiterate the U.S. position, we are closely watching developments in Egypt, including ongoing demonstrations and calls for further demonstrations in the coming week. All Egyptians have the right to express their opinions freely, and we've urged the government to protect that right. We urge all parties to refrain from violence and express their views peacefully. And political leaders have the responsibility of taking steps to ensure their groups do not resort to violence. So we call on the government to be responsive to the justified concerns of its people. President Morsi, as Egypt's first democratically elected leader, has a special responsibility to reach out to all political groups and try to build consensus through compromise. So we continue to support Egypt's democratic transition. And let me be clear, our support to the Egyptian people is not based on one party or one group. It's not for any particular party, it's for the success of all Egyptians. We want the Egyptians to prosper, we want their democratic system to succeed, and we want the rights of all Egyptians to be protected. That's our key interest in Egypt, and their future is for them to decide. But we certainly want all political groups to figure out a way forward, figure out a way to cooperate, figure out a way to move their institutions and their economy forward. So we broadly support the Egyptian people. We want the Egyptian people to be successful.
Do you think that this regime, the Muslim Brotherhood regime, is doing the same things that the previous regime was doing against the freedom of expression and violating the freedom of demonstrating and expressing against the opposition?
Well, look, democracy requires compromise and concessions on everyone's part, and Egyptian's democratic transition is no different. So we hope that Egyptians will find a way to work together peacefully to address their concerns.
For my question, what about the regime? This regime is doing the same things?
I had a very clear message, both for the people and the government of Egypt, and the message is that peaceful demonstrations should be allowed, but that people should not resort to violence. So that's a pretty clear message, and we want President Morsi to take into account the views of all Egyptians who want to be represented.
Is it respecting or not the freedom of expression?
Look, our point for Egyptian leaders is that they need to demonstrate a clear commitment to work for all Egyptians, regardless of ethnicity, gender, political affiliation, or religious belief, and that's our broad message to the Egyptian leadership.
So, and if they don't?
Look, I'm not going to get into
hypothetical.
I'm not going to get into the hypothetical.
Okay, but presumably you thought that President Mubarak should also respect the rights of all Egyptian people and their freedom of expression. Look, the consequences for him not doing that were what? A couple $1 billion a year in aid, never taken away,
man,
threatened.
I'm not going to make comparisons. We're invested in the success of the Egyptian people. And
you were the one who said that Morsi, as the first elected president of Egypt, has a, quote, special responsibility to reach out to all Egyptians and to so if he doesn't, has he been warned of some kind of consequence if he doesn't?
I'm simply not going to get into a hypothetical or engage in that, but our message is very...
Okay, then let's take it out of the hypothetical.
Our message is very carefully crafted, both for the Egyptian people and the Egyptian government.
Okay,
and we want all Egyptians to understand that we support the success of the Egyptian people.
Would you say that it would be fair to say that your message to President Mubarak was similar, that he should allow the Egyptian people to have...
Look, I'm just not going to make...
respect for freedom. I'm not asking for a comparison. I just want to know if...
I'm not going to make a historical analysis or comparison.
I'm not asking for now. Did the United States, when President Mubarak was president of Egypt, want him to respect the Egyptian people's right to free speech, and did you want him to respect the rights of free speech and demonstration? Yes or no?
You can go back and look at what we said at the time, and it's pretty clear.
And he didn't. And what did you do? What was the consequence of him not doing that?
Look, the key here, Matt, is looking forward, that we want the Egyptian political system, we want the Egyptian economy to succeed for the Egyptian people who've invested so much in this revolution and who want to see their rights respected and want to see their country move ahead. And that's the only U.S. interest is supporting that broadly.
President Morsi, when he came to power, he granted himself a lot of power. And then a few weeks ago, and the State Department had had a position toward there was a law putting a lot of restrictions to non-governmental associations
And we were clear with our concerns at the
yes.
time.
So this regime is doing stuff that the previous regime was doing. So what is your position? How do you see
Transitions to democracy are hard. There will be ups and downs, there will be difficulties, there will be progress. We broadly support the Egyptian people to make that progress and to consolidate the democratic transition. So we'll continue to make that point broadly, and we want the Egyptian people to know that we support them and wish them success.
Accusation by liberal groups, secular groups, civil society people accusing Ambassador Patterson of being partial to the Muslim Brotherhood. Has there been any meetings between these groups and the ambassador?
We know the ambassador and the embassy meet with a wide range of groups. And you saw Ambassador Patterson's comments. She made clear that we fully support Egypt's democratic transition and that we want the Egyptian people to fulfill their vision for their country. So she was very clear on that. But, she and her embassy team meet routinely with a wide range of sectors throughout Egypt.
I understand, but they made actually very scathing accusations. Has she been able to sort of alleviate these fears and so on with these particular groups?
Look, she and her team will continue to have contact with a wide range of Egyptian society.
so the Muslim Brotherhood is now an ally to the United States?
Look, Egypt, broadly speaking, has been a long-standing ally of the United States, and we support the Egyptian people in this transition. We will continue
The Muslim
to.
Brotherhood in power right now in the regime, are they an
Look,
ally to
We
the
continue to
United
have a
States?
relationship with President Morsi and his government. We continue to want a productive relationship, but the future of Egypt is for Egyptians to decide, and we want Egyptians, broadly speaking, to be successful, and we want to have a good, positive relationship with the government of Egypt.